With his house burnt and halfling assassins stalking him from the shadows, Georg decides to return to Thornwood. He visits the Giant's Drink in the seedier part of town and finds 3 shady-looking characters. As luck would have it, they give up the name of the halfling assassin and the fact that he has a sidekick, but in return they want Georg to help them rob Lady Dysac. They explain that Lady Dysac had bought a dilapidated village and started excavating it. The diggers may have found something that the thugs want, and ask Georg to cause a distraction so they can see what the diggers found, as it must be valuable. Georg agrees, and with the new information manages to track down the assassin's assistant. But the sneaky little git manages to escape his grasp. Frustrated and angry, Georg decides to confront Lady Redshield. Surprisingly, Lady Redshield comes clean and admits not only that she is the mystery wizard, but also that she is planning to become Countess, and even offers Georg a chance to work for her in return for Lord Song's life. Georg refuses and decides to leave despite Lady Redshield's death threats. He turns to his room and secures it for the night. The next day he visits Ark Ramdell and tells him about the plot. The Ark is disbelieving at first, and when he opens a letter he recently received from the Lady Redshield, it explodes, nearly killing him. Georg decides that perhaps now would be a good time to flee into the dark and stormy night and return to the safety of Misty Rapids, but not before he steals Ark Ramdell's spellbook and selling his horse. The journey is fraught with danger, but Georg manages to avoid most of it. He finds a safe and warm place to stay the night before reaching home the next day. Tired, wet and cold, Georg finds his roof leaking and bed wet, so instead of having a nap, he goes to report everything to Baron Song. The Baron decides to send a letter to both the Queen and Lady Castilian to inform them of Lady Redshield's plot. After the conversation, Cal Grella approaches Georg and questions him about curses and how to identify or remove them, but offers little explanation of why. The day after, Georg learns that the body of a halfling was washed up downriver and goes to investigate. Along the way, he encounters 2 riders chasing down a woman. Georg intervenes and learns that the woman is accused of stealing from Lady Redshield. Georg decides to save the woman and send the thugs on their way, instead of stealing their souls, and offers to escort the woman back to Misty Rapids after investigating the halfling. During the journey, the rescued woman introduces herself as Marjorie and tells the tale of how she and her sisters were hired by a hooded older man to steal Lady Redshield's accounting ledger, which they managed to do, but sadly they were spotted on the way out, and her sister got shot by a crossbow, and she barely managed to escape. When they reach the village, they find that the halfling was pulled from the river, dead, but Georg, starting to feel a little paranoia with all the schemes and plotting afoot, decides to make sure. He is taken to the halfling body and recognized it as the halfling who was working as Lady Redshield's gardener. With the assassin confirmed dead, he collects a coded note that was on the body, and Georg and Marjorie return to the Misty Rapids. How will Lady Redshield retaliate? What secret is Cal Grella hiding? How many more horses will Georg go through? Find out next time on Dicing with Death.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to our surprise edition of Dyson with Death. We were going to have a surprise edition tomorrow, but then we surprised our surprise edition with a surprise edition today, and we were only surprised about 45 minutes ago that the surprise was going to happen. So, surprise!
Happy Easter!
Happy Easter for those of you in Southeast Asia?
I don't know. That's
In the
tomorrow.
South Pacific?
Something like that.
Yeah. And maybe those of you in Europe, maybe. Happy Easter night? Happy Easter Eve? Happy Easter. Anyway, so what's been up since I saw you 2 days ago? 3 days ago.
Not a whole lot. I don't know. Working away.
Before the show, Ryan was telling me about electron microscopes and tunneling into people's hands and the horrible things that would happen to you if you tried
brought
to
up
put
the
your.
tunneling into people's hands.
And yet we still discussed it. But that's not what we're here to do. We're not here to discuss microscopes and changing levels of chemical properties and all that fun stuff. We're here to talk about Georg. Georg the Gruesome. Georg the Lichguard. Georg Karl. Oh, yes, Georg Korsbane. But who's been known as Karl for a very long time now. We may end up having to change your character name to actually just Karl. Seems like Georg is a name that you're leaving behind.
Who knows? Who knows?
Do you
I'm growing more and more powerful with the session. The experience points just keep adding up.
Yes.
I may not need to hide my identity for too long.
Well,
but for now, Ark Karl.
Ark
Wizard of Misty Rapids.
Yes, indeed.
And I guess we'll hop right back in.
Yeah, you wake up one morning.
I guess the morning after at my damp house with a hole in the roof.
No, you got the house is damp, but you got a new bed, like mattress.
Yeah, so I probably got like a bed like in the middle of the room.
Mm-hmm.
There's a mattress on the floor in the middle of the room.
Right. Actually, you wake up to a knocking at your door.
Books and papers and who is disturbing me? Yeah, I'll stumble out of bed.
Okay. There is a servant at the door, and he has a folded piece of paper in his hand. It has a seal around it, and he holds it out eagerly to you. You haven't memorized any spells yet today, by the way.
Yeah. I thank him and tip him and take it and don't dare open. I don't even read the seal.
that's a fair.
I toss it in like on the floor somewhere and then go about my memorizing of spells.
So you're like, yes, mail. Screw that.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I'm in morbid fear of it being an exploding letter.
Okay.
And I wish to cast the detect magic on it first. But
okay.
I play it off cool to the delivery boy.
As you shut the door, toss it down, and go over to like pick up your books and start learning your spells, there comes another knock at your door.
What is it?
I forgot I had a message for you.
What's the message?
Baron Song wishes to see you.
This is the same delivery?
Yeah. It's the same guy who came by the other day telling you that.
I'm like, I saw that bastard like I guess 2 days ago.
Yeah, 2 days ago.
Bastard. He's a true-blooded noble.
He summons you at his every whim.
Tell him I'll be there in a few. I'll beat you there. Go away.
Yes, my lord.
What time is it? I don't have a clock, do I?
No.
One of these days I'll have enough money to afford like a grandfather clock, but they're probably hundreds of GP, maybe even more.
Mm-hmm.
Wizarding life is expensive. So let's memorize spells. I think I cast all of my read magic yesterday.
You did.
Books. I don't know if I fully deciphered it. It doesn't matter because I've got enough to at least start learning. But over the course of downtime, I'll be throwing in read magics on days that we don't play.
Cool.
When we skip all these
read
magics.
And I think we mentioned this on stream. If not, we at least Brian and I talked about it off stream. We have found, someone has found in the tomes of second edition, more specific rules for how long it takes to learn spells. Now, of course, second edition, being the beautiful system that it is, does not actually spell it out for you, but it gives you a hint as to how long it might take to learn a spell. And that hint implies D2 days per spell level. That's what we're trying to describe from the ancient texts we learn from. And so for now we're going to
grimoires.
Yes, we're going to switch up the learning time for spells to be D2 days. And if you guys are fans of Hardcore Heroes, you'll see that reflected over there as well.
The books.
By the books.
So I had a reduce, a cutler spray, rope trick, a knock, and 2 blinks memorized. So I'll have to memorize 2 detect magics, a spider climb, and a past life. Which is
all right, because you've got your little halfling hair.
Yeah, 30. It's 50 minutes of studying.
Okay.
And I am attempting to learn clairvoyance. It will take 3 D2 days, and I have to account for how many hours a day do I need? Is it 4 or 8 a day?
Let's take a look at this again. Because before I said it was 8 hours a day, but this makes it sound really difficult and exacting. It might be dedicated days.
I think 8 hours is a dedicated day.
Yeah. 8 hours is probably a dedicated day. Let's take a look again.
In fact, in some cultures, 8 hours is too much to work in a day.
The books themselves were workmanship must be exact and flawless. Even the slightest mistake in copying a spell ruins it. This does not work for a common scribe.
That is the most condescending thing.
Spellbook wizard's work.
Spellbook work must be done slowly and laboriously by hand. All right, 8 hours a day sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe a better way to do it would be convert it into hours.
Ooh.
8 times. Yeah.
Yeah. D2.
3 D2 times 8 hours would be the simplest way.
Yeah. That way you could power learn it if you want.
What's that?
You could power learn it if you needed to.
Yeah. Cram sesh.
Nice.
I think I'll have the opposite problem where most days I'll only be able to get like 4 hours in, and I'll have to like skip sleep or decide between studying and being rested enough to memorize spells.
Maybe, but I'm also would like to make sure that gets clumped together, so it's not like an hour of studying a day. Like you need to really be sinking your teeth into this material.
Yeah.
So maybe like a minimum of 8 hours a day, but you can study more if you want. I don't know. We'll work it out.
So 50 minutes later, and then I'm going to cast a detect magic and a past life. So let's detect magic first.
You detect no magic on the letter.
Okay. And no other surprises. I mean, Carl is magical, and
Carl is magical,
and the amulet is obviously magical.
Yep.
Nothing else in the.
I can't think of anything that you have on yourself that's magical.
I don't expect anything to be. But
yeah.
Okay. And cool. So that's cleared, unless they're a very powerful wizard indeed. So I'll open the letter before I cast Past Life.
Okay. I'm just going to copy and paste the text to you. And you can read it for yourself. Here it is in the Skypes, if you still have that open.
Shall I read it out loud to the class?
I think so.
Dear Ark Carl, you may be surprised to hear that I have survived this attempt on my life. I was right to worry about the secret wizard in Thornwood. Thank you for your help in uncovering this dastardly creature. Undoubtedly you will have heard, or will shortly hear, that Annabelle Redshield has escaped custody and is on the loose. I fear she will come after the 2 of us again. Please come by Thornwood sometime after the next fortnight. and I will be happy to teach you those 2 spells you requested. In related news, my spellbook is nowhere to be found. How are you going to teach me spells then? Did you see what happened to it during the explosion? Yours truly, Ark Ramdal, the transmuter of Thornwood. So, I don't have any magical means that may help me in this endeavor, and I don't think I have any relevant proficiencies. But I would like to do my best to gauge if this is legit. Does the signature look at all like his? I've seen his writing before. I mean, I've seen his spell book.
Yeah, you compare it to his
writing?
spell book. Give me an intelligence check as you compare it to his spell book.
And also, then the sigil is another obvious thing to look at. I don't have heraldry or anything, but I don't roll a 1 on my intelligence check.
You're pretty damn sure that this is the same writing. I mean, a 36 is one of the higher rolls you can make.
Yeah. He must have been healed by a cleric if this is actually him, and it's good to know that. If this is true, that's quite interesting. I'll shove this in my pocket as I head off to see Lord Song. Just before I head out the door, I'll remember to pluck out my halfling hair. I'll save some of it until I'm a level 7 and can cast a better version of Past Life.
Okay.
Now I will cast it upon the hair, and I've never actually seen the spell work successfully. So,
by touching the remains of a dead creature, this spell allows the caster to gain a mental image of the deceased's former appearance. The remains can be of any age, and only a tiny fragment is required, such as a bone splinter or strand of hair.
But what visage I see of him is the question. Can I probe it? I can't. I imagine the spell is not powerful enough for me to look through time, see a child version, see a middle-aged version.
No, you see his most recent version before he died, and you see that lovely little halfling that you were talking about in the garden, or talking with in the garden. He looked so peaceful and happy, and was awed by your magic and terrified, and he was friendly and nice, and he's got soft eyes, and yeah.
Okay, so I'm pretty. I mean, it would be a stretch to. I mean, men wear many disguises, but it would be a stretch. It seems for this to be my attempted assassin.
Well, you don't really remember what the assassin looks like, but the image is not of a masked man with a knife. It's like a hobbit in suspenders with a trowel. By hobbit, I mean halfling.
If I had a piece of hair from a deceased person from when they were younger, so if I were to say take, I don't know who the example here would be, but Baron Song's hair now and cast the spell after he died, would I get an image of him when I took the hair?
That is a very interesting question. One that you should try.
As he hops aboard his horse.
Yes.
The inn next door. Where do I bump into? What's her name?
Marjorie.
I was going to remember that. It was on the tip of my tongue. Melisandre was what was going to come out first. Marjorie.
Let's take a look at our town map here.
For the record, I leave all the books but my own at the house. In fact, I leave all the books but my own at the house.
Okay.
The wizard locked house, which does have a holy roof, so I'll have to get that patched up.
As you step out of your house, you see Marjorie waving to you from the back deck of the First Falls Inn. If you're looking at the map, she's on this back corner. There's a little porch out there overlooking the waterfalls, and she's out there reclined in a chair, her head waved around the corner.
Is it a shortcut for me to come out my back door, or is there nothing between my house? So is it a shortcut for me to approach the First Falls Inn like that?
Yeah, there's some other buildings here, but you could walk there.
So that's why I see here. I mean, because I assumed I've got a front door and a back door. I assumed I was coming out the front door.
I assumed you were coming out the front door, but you could see from the front door to here.
Okay. Okay, and it's sparse enough.
Yeah, there's a few buildings around, but there's still a line of sight there.
I probably have like that oh shit moment. Like I was all here, like ready to rush out to grab my horse. I'd probably like almost forgotten. I mean, no, I didn't actually forget, but like it wasn't. It was on the back burner, and I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah. Oh.
get away back. And go to pick up my horsey number 3.
Do you want to roll some hit dice for this horse? 3d8.
Yeah. Oh, that last. Oh, 3. It's only 3D. I was gonna say that last one was really juicy. It had 16, 13. Not quite as. Actually, the last one was wounded down to 12. So I paid like 100 gold. No, 25 gold. 25 gold to
30
1 HP.
35 gold.
Cheaper than healing the horse, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. So I guess I'll stop by and check in with her. She had 7 silver. She can make it another day. I don't know. I collect my horse when the first falls in, and I'll speak with her if she's around.
She comes out as you go to the inn. She comes out to meet you.
Actually, maybe I should just take her to. Are there horses for rent? Is that like a thing, or is?
Let's see. Inns will often have a spare horse on hand that you can kind of like. If you're a messenger for a state official, or if you're in some sort of powerful position, you can like trade out your horse on the fly. Like if you are trying to gallop from town to town and you like stop here, I need a fresh horse so I can keep going. You can switch out your horses. And if you're trading in a good horse for a crappy horse, you can get some money out of it. Or if you're trading in a crappy horse for a good horse, you might have to pay a little extra. For our purposes, since horses are almost entirely interchangeable here, you can kind of just trade horses out if you need to. If you don't have a particular attachment to that horse.
Yeah, but I can't. If I take her with me, we're gonna be super slow.
Anyway, she comes out to greet you and has a little bit of excitement in her voice, saying, The innkeeper here has offered me a job as a maid to turn the sheets down and do some sweeping and mopping.
Congratulations. Are we in like the common room? Is there a common room?
No, you're out by the stables, and she's come out to meet you.
Okay. So we're like outdoors. Is the stables around the backside by the river or along the road?
They're along the road, just off to the side of the road, between like right over here.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
When do you start?
Right now. Well, I've already done my work for this morning. But there will be more to come soon.
Right.
She kind of looks at you expectantly.
Yeah, I think I like go about getting ready to leave. So like if I don't know. So like I step into the stables and like get the horse saddled up, or I guess the stable boy does that while I watch. Conversation. I don't know that there. Yeah. So I guess that means you're busy then. I'm off to Lord Song's keep.
Oh?
Should be back by the end of the day.
She nods and says, I do have some things I'd like to talk to you about later, though. Maybe tonight?
Sure. The bait and tackle on the waterfront is not a bad place.
She gives a slow nod and agrees to meet.
That's a tavern, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I like point to it across the field. Can you see it from here? Is like down the hill or something?
Yeah. She gives you a slow nod and agrees to meet you there, and then flutters off.
Okay. We didn't even settle on a time, but whatever. It's medieval fantasy land. Not even the wizard has a clock. So
yeah.
I'll see her when I see her.
Tonight, late afternoon, whatever, something like that.
All right. So with a fresh and only mildly encumbered riding horse, I head off to Lord Song.
All right. It is a short journey, the 2 miles to the Motte and Bailey that forms Lord Song's estate, Baron Song's estate, outside of town.
Barons are lords, right?
Barons are lords, but that's a higher title to call them baron.
Counts are lords also, and
and kings are lords. It's They're all nobility. So you make your way to the Mott and Bailey. You are greeted by Kel Crystal, as usual.
Am I greeted, or does she just stare me down and open the gate wordlessly like last time?
She gives you a bit of a wave.
Yeah. I smile and wave back.
Okay, I should really call her Kel Keystone. That's her last name.
Keystone.
Keystone.
Crystal Keystone.
Yeah, well, I guess we call Greller.
Does he
His
have
last
a
name
last
is
name?
Sunderland.
He has a last name?
Yeah, they're both nobles.
Huh.
Anyway, so
Okay.
Kel Crystal Keystone lets you in with a bit of a wave and a polite nod, and makes sure the doors are open well before you arrive at them, so you don't blow them off their hinges again.
Yes. I'll keep my knock spells in my brain tank for later.
Yeah. All right.
So I drop off my horse and dismount and go to see Lord Song, rummaging in my pack and producing that letter that I wrote this morning. And
Okay.
we'll see what Song actually wanted to talk with me about.
As you walk in, you see a letter kind of sitting in the middle of this hall, well away from everyone else.
I already cast my detect magic.
Didn't you say you memorized 2?
No, I did. Did I? I don't think so. I said that, but I still.
Oh,
I think I.
what you said and what you did were
Ah,
different things.
Yeah. What? No. I'm pretty sure I. Well, let's see what chat says. Right now, I do have an asterisk next to it indicating I have it memorized, but sometimes I make mistakes and don't delete them. I might have a detect magic. Anyways, I step into the not so great hall at Song's Keep.
Right. The dim light in here. Really, the only light coming in is through the front door as you walk in, but that's also just, there's a hallway between that and the actual front door, and there's some windows way up at the top of the hall, so everything is poorly lit. Little motes of dust float through the sunbeams. The Baron is sitting on his chair, and Kel Greller, the knight, is standing just below him on the dais, chatting with him. As you come in, they turn to face you and stop
Other
their
than
conversation.
these 2 noblemen, the room is empty.
There is a servant shuffling out some food.
Okay. I step across the Great Hall, and look to Lord Song expectantly.
He points to the letter on the ground and says, "This came from Thornwood. After your interesting revelations, I was worried about opening it."
I take a look at the letter. Does the sigil match what was on my own?
It does not.
What color wax is it?
Green.
Before even reading this, actually, I guess I did kind of read the sigil to match it to mine. Darn, I almost blew myself up. I cast a detect magic, which has no material component. So I guess I probably, before even saying anything, I probably nodded and said, like, mumbled my lord as I entered the room. My first words are in the tongue of magic, and I chant and wave my hands and cast another detect magic.
All right. The letter is not magical. However, both of Kel Greller's weapons, his sword and his dagger, are, and Baron Song's ring is. Which I think are things you already knew.
I already knew that. It's 2 magic. Kel Greller's got 2 magic weapons, and I was the one that figured out the command word for Song's ring of levitation, something like that.
Yes. Telekinesis.
Telekinesis, yeah. Okay. I say in common, I trust that this is safe.
Would you open it then?
Gladly. I take the...
Oh, I should also mention Kel Greller's armor is magic.
Ooh,
His steel chain mail.
I should have noticed that, but I don't remember it. So
Yeah, you might have noticed it before and then just forgotten it or something.
What a badass. So I unsheath my magically radiating dagger, Carl, and use it as a letter opener to break the seal and open the letter. I imagine magic items kind of pretty when you're detecting magic auras, right?
Yeah, there's nice
maybe-
kind of or purples or blues or grays surrounding them.
Yeah. And I think I speed read it as I walk across the room to hand it to him. So I don't. Yeah. So I'll. Should I read it aloud?
Sure.
Yeah. Dear Baron Song. Oh, I should hold on. I just looked at who this is from. Dear Baron Song, Lady Annabelle Redshield has attempted to murder Ark Ramdal, not once but twice. She was captured but escaped with the help of corrupt guards. Her house has been stripped of lands and titles, and all members of her house are under. Whoa, shit! Oh, I spilled my drink. Excuse me. See to it that none of her house pass through your lands freely. There is a 10,000 GP bounty on Annabelle Redshield herself, Countess Nina Castilian. Wow. Sorry, I have a timer going off in the kitchen. I'll
Go get it.
10 seconds.
Dun dun dun. Boop boop boop. Boop boop boop. Got a
All right.
pot roast going in there?
Short ribs. Yes.
Sounds
A
delicious.
brazen in the oven. Turn it off.
Okay.
And I have beer all over my pants. Pants. I'm not wearing any pants. Legs. What legs?
So the Lord takes it and reads it aloud before you and Kelgreller.
How is his reading? Is he a literate man?
Yeah, he's quite literate. He reads it smoothly and thoroughly, and muses to himself. Most interesting.
The real question is, did he read it with an offensive lady voice like I just did?
He did not read it in any sort of lady voice.
Damn. Well, I got your back, chat. You get the proper production value
Yeah.
that a letter like that deserves.
He puts the letter down on the small end table next to him. It has a glass of wine on it. And says to you, I think it has served us well to write to the Queen ahead of time. Undoubtedly she will hear of Annabelle Redshield's betrayals, and our earlier assessment of her character will reflect well on us. Well done, Carl.
Yeah, this seems
You
to
are
have worked
proving
out.
to be quite useful.
It's almost worked out too well. I mean, I guess I've made quite the enemy of Annabelle Redshield, who is a level question mark wizard of unknown specialty.
Yes.
Secret wizards.
Dun dun dun.
10,000 GP. Holy shit. Let's catch that witch. Although I'm kind of afraid of her. Let's see. Anything? I'll mention. I too received a letter this morning from Ramdal.
Do tell.
I pull it out and hand it to him. I don't think there's any significant information. Actually, hold on a sec. I guess I've already told him I've got it. I'm already presenting it when I skim through it again to make sure there's nothing I didn't want him to hear.
Yes.
Nothing significant.
All right. He reads it over aloud again, and looks to you quizzically and says, "I thought you said you had already acquired the spells we needed."
I point to the the last sentence of the of the letter? Like, did you see what happened to my spellbook in the explosion? And just
Ah,
a wink, or yeah.
he says, and nods
I fold the letter back
approvingly.
up and shove it into my pocket.
Yeah. He gives you like a slow, approving nod with a little bit of a smile underneath and says nothing more about it.
Mm-hmm.
A few moments pass, and he says, Annabelle Redshield is worth 10,000 gold. That is quite the prize. I task both of you, my two most loyal servants, with finding her and bringing her here to me so we can turn her in. The barony could use 10,000 gold.
I look somewhat surprisedly to Kel Greller. What did you say his last name was?
Sunderland.
Kel Sun. Do we have to retcon that his name is Kel Sunderland now?
No, his name is Kel Greller Sunderland.
It'd be like Sir first name. Sir Dave.
Sir Dave. Oh, well, Sir Lancelot. Well, Lancelot was his first name.
Really? Did he have a family name?
Dulac of the Lake. Baptized as Galahad. Right?
Wait, Lancelot and Galahad are the same dude?
I don't know.
Okay, this is a question for another time. Different fantasy universe.
Galahad is a different knight, but Lancelot was baptized as Galahad. So they probably had like the same first name. They told each other apart by going, I don't know. Knights of the Round Table. Why doesn't the right Knights of the Round Table just have a list of the Knights of the Round Table? Wikipedia, you fail me. Anyway, doesn't matter. You can call them Sirs by their first name as well. Kel first name is legit.
Okay. Baron Song, do you... Perhaps I'm being overly cautious, but do you recognize the seal? I gesture to the broken green seal on Nina Castilian's letter.
He looks at it and nods. It is a Castilian seal.
I nod
Do you
slowly.
suspect foul play?
I have no reason to, but one can never be too careful. What would it take to? What would it take for one to forge such a letter as this? Is that something we need to be concerned of?
I like the way you think. I shall write to Lady Castilian and include this letter in the package. I'll have my servant see to it that she reads it and confirms it was her message. One could never be too careful. In any case, we shall keep a vigilant eye out for any nobles traveling down the road. If you see anyone suspicious, anyone that looks like a member of House Redshield...
Actually, now that you mention it, I came across two of her knights, or henchmen, or whatever you'd call a mounted thug in armor.
This day?
On the road. Yesterday. Just a few miles east of Misty Rapids, and some of the outlying villages. They were chasing a woman they claimed to be some petty thief. I shooed them off, told them they had no power in this land. If I had received this letter a day earlier, I would have taken more extreme matters. But the woman is in Misty Rapids at one of the inns.
He looks to Kel Greller.
I continue unless...
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
The woman, Marjorie, claims she was hired to steal a ledger from the former Lady Redshield, and was chased out of town by Redshield's guards. She didn't seem to know much about her employer, but I shrug.
Do you believe her?
I think I do. But it's worth keeping an eye on. This is a task I am up to. I doubt we will see any more of Lady Redshield's men unless they come in force, however.
He
Or as
nods.
blades in the dark.
Yes. Keep your friends close, Carl, and your enemies closer. See what you can find out about this woman. If her story rings true, it would be wonderful to find other enemies of the Red Shields. He gives you a wave, dismissing you.
I stand up, nod your baronship. I look to Kel Greller and I say, Kel, would you like to speak briefly on our plan of attack, or shall we speak once we've made some headway?
He stands for a moment. Not sure.
A two-pronged approach. I like it. And I
What-
turn to walk out of the room.
There's a chuckle from Baron Song, and an angry stomping of Kel Greller as he walks away in a different direction.
All right. I don't know what to make of that, but I leave and grab my horse and
Okay.
head back to Misty Rapids.
Okay. Right. You head back to Misty. What?
Both the last two times I've been here, I've really been itching to know what's going on with that unicorn in the dungeon. But I'm almost like I'm almost too afraid to ask or to look, unless it's because the dungeon is accessed from within the keep.
Yes.
So like Baron Song is like sitting next to the door to the dungeon,
I mean, it's not like under his chair, but yeah, he's
like a hallway off from the main hall.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will retrieve my horse,
Okay.
head back out through the gate.
As you are riding towards Misty Rapids, you see a horseman galloping past you, or galloping in your direction towards the keep.
Armored.
Unarmored horseman, unarmed or armored. And as he
I-
gallops towards you,
I get
he
out of
yells.
his way
yeah.
and, okay.
He yells, "Make way! Make way!" As he.
Do I see any colors or sigils? Again, I'm not a herald, but I.
No, he.
Like, is he?
He's
wearing
like peasant looking. He's got dirty clothes, not very fancy. Look like workman's clothes of sorts.
whatever. If he's riding for help, I'll be in Misty Rapids faster if
Yeah.
I just leave now. I'm kind of sick of people telling me what to do. See how the day started, so I just ignore this messenger.
Right.
Misty Rapids.
Okay. You arrive at Misty Rapids a very short while later. Is there anything in particular you were looking to do?
I think I get my study time in now, or as much of it as I can.
Okay.
So what time of day is it when I return?
Before noon. It's late morning.
Okay. Yeah, so I study for a few hours, and then I think
Oh.
I'll take like a break and try and...
So hold on. We don't get that far.
Okay.
There you are interrupted.
So I go back to my house, and I said, is it still raining?
No, the sun has come out. It's bright and shiny and beautiful.
Okay.
You are interrupted during your studies, just as you've like really gotten into it. You've gotten past that initial like cracking open your books and getting into the mood to study. Now you're like enveloping yourself in these texts. When there is a pounding on your door, and Kel Greller's deep voice echoes from outside. "Carl! The Knolls, they're back!"
Oh, fucking hell. I get up, grab my staff, like tighten, I don't know, like attach my belt. Maybe I undid it or something to study. Did I gain HP last night? Was there any action yesterday?
There was...
I did declare that I went to the surgeon, or went to the doctor. And I don't-
Yeah, you get HP last night.
But if I had I don't think I got into any fights yesterday.
You
right?
didn't get into any fights, no.
Yeah, so I should be at 8 out of 15. up from 5.
You didn't get complete bed rest though.
Oh, okay. So okay,
It's
so
2.
just 1 HP or just 2 HP?
Yeah, 2 because you got a doctor watching over you.
Okay, so I'm at 7 out of 15.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I open the door. Is Greller there, or is he already?
He's already mounted on his horse, waiting for you impatiently. You can see his face twitching. The Knolls!
Where were they spotted? I'm like running past him
West!
to the yard to go to the stables.
West, a mile and a half from here. Smoke was seen. Riders from nearby villages left. Or a rider from a nearby village left.
West, how many miles?
5 leagues.
How the fuck many miles is 5 leagues?
It's like 2 miles.
Get on horseback. All right.
Whoa, no, not 5 leagues. 1 league.
Okay.
It's
so
3/4 of a league. Leagues are longer than miles, apparently.
All right. I'm like running across the yard to the stables to grab my horse.
Okay.
Or I guess down the street to the stables to grab my horse. I turn around over my shoulder as I'm running. I'm like, you can get a head start. I'll catch you once I'm mounted.
Okay, he heads westward on horseback quite quickly.
All right. I mount up and I don't have feather fall. I could reduce myself to ride faster, but I think a riding horse at 2/3 movement is moving at movement rate 16, right?
Yes.
A riding horse has 24 base?
Yes.
Yeah. 16. He probably moves at 18 on a heavy war horse, or is it 15?
I think a heavy warhorse is 12.
No.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think even slightly encumbered, I can probably just gallop to catch him or something like that and get him on the road before we...
Heavy warhorse is, oh, you're right, 15.
Okay, so I am 1 movement faster even if I don't do any tricks.
Right.
Okay, so I should be able to catch him on the road before we get to the scene of said crime.
Okay, so you do catch up with him on the road.
Yeah, I ride him down. Are there peasants like fleeing in the opposite direction, or is it not that extreme of a...
You don't see it at first, but as you pass a few villages, you see large groups of peasants banded together with whatever tools or weapons they can find. They give shouts and cries as you ride past, and you see in the distance smoke rising from presumably a village. The way is quite clear to where you must be going. That is not the word. The two of you come riding into this village, or riding in towards this village. You get to the point where you can start making out houses off at the edge of your view. Quite a bit of smoke is pouring from multiple buildings that are inflamed. You see fences have been broken.
I'm looking to Greller for tactical advice. Are we like riding at full gallop, or are we slowing down?
This is where you've kind of slowed down to get the lay of the land. You've come to a slight rise in the road, and you get a view. The village is a little bit downhill from here, and about a mile away at this point. Not even a mile, like 3/4 of a mile. You've got a fairly clear view to it. You see the collection of houses and buildings numbering maybe 24, of which they're numbering 24, of which 3 or 4 are on fire. You can't quite get a good view. You don't see any people about, but you do see some damaged fences and scattered livestock, as well as dead livestock lying about.
They just killed the livestock and left them here?
Some of them. There's a couple of cows that are just pitched over. Unless they're just having a nap on their sides in the middle of the day.
Knolls. Souls. I think. Feeling the sudden warmth from my fully charged amulet. Well, almost fully charged amulet. All right.
Greller looks
Touching
to
my
you.
reins in one hand, quarterstaff in the other.
He looks to you and says, "Are you prepared, wizard? This is not some matter of academics. You could die."
I am always prepared. I cough and clutch my bruised up ribs. But I'm a little wary, so let's not get surrounded, okay?
prepare your fireballs.
I laugh.
And he takes point and rides into the village.
All right, I ride in close on his heels.
Okay. The village is burning. Lots of buildings are on fire. The fire is clearly spreading from one to another. As you move to get into a spot where you can actually come into the village, the view of the center of camp, or center of the village, comes into view. You see the people have all been gathered up and are surrounded by a bunch of gnolls. They number in the low 20s, maybe mid 20s.
Those are the people.
The gnolls. The people are much more numerous, but slowly falling apart. It looks like all the people have been stacked in a horizontal line, and there is a gnoll at the end of the line, picking up his axe and swinging and decapitates a person.
You've been listening to way too much hardcore history, like Mongolian execution style.
Well, Mongolians would each get a set number of people and be responsible for killing them. This is more like a line, and they're practicing swinging. You know, you watch another gnoll come up and take a swing, and it gets stuck in the guy's neck partway, and the guy, you can't hear anything from the distance, but you can see the person's clearly twitching as his body spasms out, and the gnoll wrenches his axe out. Another person steps up to the little box.
Magic missile is sight range, right?
No, I thought it was. It's not actually. It is magic missile. It is 60 yards plus 10 yards per level.
So that is 100. Oh, but it's plus 5 levels if I use the amulet.
Right.
So 5 plus 5 is 10. 160 yards. That's pretty nice.
It's pretty good.
All right. So let me know when we get in 160 yards.
All right. Well, as you guys get a little bit closer, and a little bit closer, the decapitations and executions stop as you are pointed out to the head gnoll.
Are we coming in from atop a hill, or are we now?
No, it's pretty flat terrain here. You're basically coming in along this path. There's fences and pasture land on either side of you, and maybe half a mile in front of you, a quarter of a mile at this point in front of you, is the first set of buildings that make the village square. It looks like all the people together have built their houses all adjacent to each other, and then the farmland sprawls in a circle around that. Pretty common village structure here. And it looks like everyone's been gathered in the center of town. As I said before, you see roughly 20-ish gnolls, of which there is clearly a larger, bigger, meaner-looking gnoll. In fact, there's a whole bunch of gnolls that are a little bit bigger. It looks like you've got, a bunch of standard everyday gnolls, and then kind of like a steroid group, of which one of them is a half a head taller than the others.
About how many larger gnolls did you say?
It looks like 8.
8 big gnolls, 12 regular gnolls.
Mm-hmm. Ish.
This could get dicey.
All right.
I think we approach. I might even pull ahead of Kelgreller for a second. I mean, I am faster than him. Like, I'm feeling a sense of urgency. Is he just casually approaching at his trot?
He's not. Yeah, he's trotting in. He doesn't seem to be too urgent about anything.
Mm-hmm. So I think I'll probably pull ahead of him. So I won't slow my horse down to like match his. I'll like let it go at its natural movement.
Mm-hmm.
And pull slightly ahead. I don't know how we could calculate how many rounds out I am, but it'll probably add like a couple tens of yards.
Right.
Yeah, but I'll probably stop as soon as I hit 160 yards and rain down my missiles. Pew 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 pew.
Okay. Why don't we take our break right here, and we'll come into the village on the other side of our break. See you guys in a moment. Bye-bye.
Cliffhanger.